Hello and welcome to the APTA Grand Prix Series. We are live from the Short Hills Club in Short Hills, New Jersey on the APTA network. I am Patty Hogan alongside Lauren Mandel for a women's round of 16 matchup between Lisa Rudloff and Masha Slupska. They're coming up against Karen Kochis and Jacqueline Williamson, the number 7 seeds. Hey, Lauren, want to tell the audience at home what we're going to be seeing in this exciting women's matchup?
Yeah, Patty, I do think we're going to have an exciting women's matchup here. Rudloff and Slupska are not seeded, but Lisa Rudloff is a 2-time national finalist. She and Liz Jaffe reached the finals of the Nationals in 2011 and 2012. And she and Masha Slupska started playing last year. And Slupska was a newcomer to the game, and as it does with all newcomers, it's taken her a little while to translate her tennis skills into paddle. And she's learning how to sort of harness her power and to use it to her team's advantage in paddle. And they're becoming a very good team. They're taking on the number 7 seeds, Karen Kochis and Jacqueline Williamson, who are from Pennsylvania, who work together in Pennsylvania at the Whitford Country Club. And they're the 11th ranked team in the country, and they're seeded 7th, and they're a very, very solid team. They do everything pretty well. They both hit well off the deck, they volley well, and I think we're going to have some very good paddle to watch. We're going to have to we're going to have to look and see whether Slupska and Rudloff can keep it under control. Patty, in their first round match, they dropped the first set before coming back.
Right, and they came up against a veteran team of Judy Takash and Andrea Noyes. I had the opportunity to watch a little bit of that match, and Noyes and Takash started out so solid in that match and won the first set 6-1. And I just didn't think Slupska was going to hang in terms of limiting her unforced errors. But then as they worked their way in that second set, and it's what Lisa Rudloff is known for, she's a strategist, and she's the one that, they kind of worked through that match, made it into a third set, and then I think some of the explosiveness they have probably was the difference in that match.
And you'll see the quarter of the draw that's up on the screen here. Kochis and Williamson and Rudloff and Slupska, the winner of this match, can take on either the number 4 seed, Anya Kazakevich and Heather Prop, or they have a tough match in Marion Cruz and Marina Ruiz de Gauna. So that's by no means a sure thing that they would play Kazakevich and Prop.
I predict that match will be a battle. I got to see, all those matches were over at Beacon Hill, and it was really well played.
Here we go. Karen Kochis to serve. You heard right from the start, Kochis telling Williamson that the lob was short. They're good friends and good communicators.
Kochis and Williamson are on the far side. That's Karen Kochis running back for that shot. Jacqueline Williamson is at the net.
Lisa Rudloff, I expect, will follow in her powerful partner's returns often in this match. Oh. Karen Kochis was surprised by that football call. I'll have to see how her serve goes. I can get into your head. $15.40. They're going to test Slupska in the screens.
That's another the powerful return of serves you're going to see out of that ad court from Masha Slupska today.
There's a lot of room down the middle there for Slupska to hit that return through.
First game, Stulak and Rudloff.
Let's see if they make any adjustments, because Williamson was all the way over and Kochis didn't come in down the middle. It's a big alley.
That's one thing I'll look for in this match, Lauren. Kochis and Williamson have only played a couple of local map to tournaments this year. Their feet are really wet in these Grand Prix events. One of the things about them that I've noticed is they're not master shifters. There are those holes in the middle when they play, and they're going to have to close that off right away against that forehand coming out of the
Absolutely, we saw it exposed right away.
Jacqueline and Karen have offensive weapons of their own. You're going to see they both have beautiful two-handed backhands.
Williamson got herself the drive there, just couldn't control it.
I got lucky, sorry. Sorry.
You'll see in the return of serve, Karen Kochis out of the deuce court. Lauren favors her backhand and lines herself over, way over, so that no matter what, she's hitting a backhand return of serve. So most teams that we'll see out here are forehand dominant. With Jacqueline and Karen, they prefer their backhands, it appears.
I think that's becoming a more commonplace thing, to have backhand dominant players. So many good two-handed backhands out there.
Karen Kochis serving. First set, round of 16 match. The beautiful Short Hills Club, Short Hills, New Jersey.
You hear Lisa Rudloff screaming to herself, change your grip.
15 love.
She ran right through that forehand and didn't give herself a good opportunity to hit it.
We think the score is 2-all, first set. We're having a hard time hearing our umpire, but we'll work on that.
I got it.
Lauren, as we always see early in these matches, the players just try to put a lot of balls in play, find some weaknesses, figure out strengths, and
15
right
to
there,
12.
that was a weakness of Kochis Williamson. And we mean the weakness is only as a team. They tend not to seal off the middle of the court.
15-30.
And when you've got these high-powered drives, you've got to be able to defend, and you seal off the middle by shifting together at the net before anybody loads up and fires their shot.
And not only does it leave a hole if you don't shift for someone to drive the ball through, it also makes the volleys just that much harder because you have to reach for them. You hear Rudloff calling for help, but then the ball didn't go out far enough, so she took it herself. Well played.
30-30.
Karen and Jacqueline are in a long line of great Philly teams, wonderful women who, just represent themselves so beautifully every time we see them compete.
Deuce. And if Kochis is worried about dragging her foot, because she actually just foot faulted there again. It'll be interesting to see if it gets called again.
That's another good point, Lauren, that you raised. It does get in your head a little bit.
Yeah, because then you start to change your stance on your serve. You move back, or you're worried about dragging your foot forward. She's foot faulting with her front foot. It's creeping up to the line.
Hang on.
See that big return.
They lead 4-1.
So we had the score really wrong. We apologize for that.
4-1 for Rudloff and Slupska.
And Lauren, right at the beginning of the match, really early on, off of an early Slupska drive, you could see the middle wide open. And I think if we could run down and tell Kochis and Williamson they better shift or this is going to be over fast potentially, you know, they're going to struggle here because that's where those forehand volleys come in.
But as you know, Patty, it's not such an easy thing to do if you're not used to doing it.
Lauren, I think that's the big thing in the sport, where the players who commit to the backhand volley have less decision making.
You see, I'm impressed with Slupska because she's learned that quickly. She really takes great pains to make sure she's hitting backhand volleys 80% of the time. It's not an easy transition for a tennis player who's used to hitting 50% forehand volleys or even more than that. It's very hard to make that change for some people, but the most successful volleyers do.
And Lauren, one of the things I've seen in this sport over many decades is the time it takes to transition from tennis to paddle. And I find the women who are in the, you know, Westchester, New Jersey, Connecticut area have lots of opportunity to play against each other, and they see the benefits immediately of committing to the backhands. I think sometimes if you're the top team in a region, you can beat everybody with your B game. You don't even need your A game.
And you don't know that you don't need your A game. You don't know that it's hurting you not to shift, let's say, or not to hit backhand volleys. It's a good return. Down low, Lisa couldn't quite get there to hit the volley up.
So that was an important break for Williamson and Kochis just to get
Game
back in
score
here in this
is
first set. I mean, everyone's still
2-4,
finding
right?
their way a little bit out here.
Yeah, nobody's really, even though Rudloff and Slupska are winning, I think that the key so far has been positioning. I think that's really the only difference in the match.
One other thing to look for is overhead coverage. You just saw it on that overhead that Jacqueline missed. There was a little bit of indecision because they hadn't shifted. And then she made kind of a loose overhead error. So those are the little things you have to do to get into the quarterfinals, national ranking tournaments.
That was a nice
You know-
spike off an up-down overhead. Down-up.
Up, down, down, up.
Up-down. That'd be an interesting overhead.
15 off.
It might be how I have to hit the overhead, Lauren.
But that's another mistake tennis players make, is that's how you hit an overhead in tennis. But in paddle, you're just going to make the other player salivate if it bounces up. See Williamson staying back there, not even trying to contend with the Slupska return.
And she had the sloppy volley error off of Lisa Rudloff's return, so I think she stayed back just to get herself settled.
Not a great drop shot. Rudloff advertised that one.
Right there, you can see the movement of Slupska and how her wingspan covers so much at the net.
Williamson had a good look at that drive off the screen. You saw there, Rudloff came in behind the Slupska serve, but when she couldn't hit it a good enough volley, she just moved right back and started the point again. And
they lead 5 games to 2.
So there's the opening in the middle. We talked about that, and I think what happens when we see the top players in the country, men or women, they seal off the middle all the time. No one's sealing off the middle right here for Kochis and Williamson. And I think that's the only reason they're down 2-5. And then I think when you get behind, sometimes you rush your baseline play. And Karen and Jacqueline are so effortless in their movement and their shot making from the baseline. But I think just like we saw in that men's match earlier, they've got to put more balls in play and just get deeper into these points here. That's Slupska serving. Lisa Rudloff is in all black, the right of the 2 players on your screen.
you heard Rudloff scream out, but it's not so easy when the ball's coming fast at you and a net-to-net person exchange to get out of the way, to react quickly enough. And Slupska couldn't there.
Lauren, I don't know if you're aware of when Jacqueline Williamson played in her first APTA event. We're going to go way back, Junior Nationals. She was 7. She paired up in the 10 and under mixed division with 10-year-old Peter Hissey.
Nice move by Slupska. Her Rudloff telling her that she was back, so she knew that she could try to seal off the net there by herself. 15-30.
Curious if we see any adjustments from Kochis and Williamson here. I just think there being a lack of tournament toughness could be hurting them right now in the early go.
I also think if you're a team that's not used to shifting, you don't know that you're not shifting. You think you're coming to the middle. Game, Kochis Williamson.
I'm impressed with Rudloff's Slupska. Very few unforced errors up to this point in this set.
Karen Kochis serving, down 3-5.
Good serve.
There's that kind of awkward first forehand volley there we saw again from Karen.
And she came in off her serve there. They're mixing, Kochis and Williamson are mixing up the looks that they're giving Rudloff and Slupska. Sometimes they're staying back, and sometimes they're coming in. And there she stays back.
I'm just not sure Kochis and Williamson have a plan with their overheads even. Jacqueline fed Masha's forehand on the shot before, and it's not how you're going to go through these guys. This is where you'd love to see Karen come over and cover the line. Masha missed the shot, but instead of standing and reaching, we'd love to see her slide over to her right.
And we have a set, Patty. From 2-5, it's now 5-4. Rudloff and Slupska. Few errors creeping into their game.
Right, and I think what you mean is that we have a match on our hands. In the early go, it didn't look like it was going to be a great set of battle, but Kochis and Williamson are in here, and they are, I mean, they have a laid-back style of play. They don't panic. They've got a willingness to work into this match here.
There's a nice backhand return. Rudloff likes to play the backhand side, even though she plays with the forehand now, but she liked to back into the side screen on the backhand and hit that forehand. It's not as easy from the deuce court. Good opportunity there.
And the reason we're seeing her in the deuce court is because of the weapon that her partner can provide with that forehand up the middle from the ad court.
There's a down-up overhead.
15-30.
It got Slupska in trouble.
But that was a good combination of shots from Williamson and Kochis there.
15-40.
Two points to even the match at 5-all.
It's a beautiful play from Karen Kochis out of that deuce court.
Game coaches Williamson.
5 minutes ago, it was 5-2, Patty. I really think that was 3 games in 5 minutes.
Game score is 5-5.
Rudloff and Slupska need to regroup here and take their time and slow it down.
And they are with that little chat back there. I'm sure Lisa had some wise words for her new partner. Lisa's got the experience to figure out how to manage through matchups and downs, and I'm sure she'll share that.
And here we see a different formation at the net.
Jacqueline Williamson serving. 5-all, first set, round of 16 match. APTA Grand Prix Series out of the Short Hills Club in Short Hills, New Jersey. That's a great lob.
You hear Williamson saying, I should have gone down the middle. She was too far back to hit that overhead.
Meaning if she's pushed that far back, aim her overhead toward the middle of the court, just hit a higher percentage shot. And the middle helps you avoid hitting to a player's forehand if that's their strength.
Good control.
Talk about not shifting.
Yeah, but that was a tough little backhand, kind of inside out off a low ball. Lisa Rudloff likes to move at the net, and she'll get herself in trouble sometimes, like she did there
Just a
But
little better lobbing from Coachis Williamson here, and they've worked their way back into this match.
Patty, what do you think? What's the advantage of playing in this formation?
I think they're trying to take away Lisa's cross-court return to serve, as well as the potential for a blitz out of the ad-court player.
And it's a bonus. They drew the error there.
That's why just showing different formations get people off their tempo.
You see all these overheads are bouncing right at the service box. Not causing any problem for Coachis and Williamson.
Wow, Karen had made an amazing volley on her sneakers there and then missed the little higher one.
Yeah, it was easy, so she got too ambitious after her great dig.
I even think Karen could move over a little bit to her right on the screen. She moved anyway, just to kind of help out a little bit more in the middle on that return to serve. You'll see with all four players here, they have beautiful screenplay, Lauren. Most of the overheads that go in come back, and it's an opportunity to build a point for the baseline team. Lisa caught Jacqueline on the deuce court, and she just didn't come up with that.
She's missed that a couple times, but she moves nicely in the screens, Slupska.
I think it's important to pick the right shot to drive off that screen. The ball needs to be in front of your body just a tiny bit so you can lean into the shot. That was beautiful.
Lisa's Coachis is now waiting for Rudloff's overhead to come right into her forehand. That one was deeper. But she's forcing herself to hit a lot of difficult volleys.
And Karen Coachis is so smooth on her strokes, I think. I would think about other places to hit all those overheads as this match goes on.
Or hit them deeper. Take the drive away.
See, I think if Rudloff and Slupska don't shift, they get caught doing the same thing, hitting too many forehand volleys over to that deuce side.
Well, Rudloff and Slupska were up 5-2 this set, and now they're going to have to try to win this game to force a tiebreaker.
And this is kind of what we expect out of high-caliber paddle matches. Really, a team can get out to an early start, get down to early service break, but paddle, anything can happen. It's a sport where there are several momentum changes throughout every single set. And so it's not surprising to us that they could turn it around here. Kind of surprising that Rudloff and Slupska had let this go. I mean, how many games have they lost in a row?
4.
I mean, I'm surprised at that.
Did some quick math there. 5-6, Slupska serving. Oh.
And all of a sudden you just feel the momentum. totally going away from Rudloff, Slupska.
Yeah, and whereas in the early stages of this set, we really saw the positioning holes that Williamson and Kochis were leaving, we haven't seen much of that at all. It's
15 all.
they're not being able to exploit it, Rudloff and Slupska.
It's Karen Kochis setting up that two-handed backhand again.
She'd like that one back. That was right in the wheelhouse.
$40-15.
Point for a tiebreaker. Whoops. That serve got away.
40-30.
Still game point.
That was a beautiful
40-40.
combination from Jacqueline. That was a huge point. I love that she just pinpointed her placement on her drive. See some of the quickness out of Kochis and Williamson there. And great coverage. Someone ran up, they just switched. Go to the other side on the baseline. Not that big a deal.
Let's see if they try to switch back or if they're comfortable. Oh, good drop shot. Takes care of that.
It is in.
That was a really smart drop shot by Lisa Rudloff. Showed a lot of discipline right here in a huge moment.
Deuce.
You heard Slupska say too. Her second fault in this game.
And Rudloff decided to just let that go rather than trying to play a very difficult volley.
Kind of surprised she wasn't looking for that from Karen. Karen started off this game by going right at Lisa. Lisa missed the volley, and Karen was wise to go right back to that same spot. I think really good players kind of have a running checklist, what goes on in prior points, and then at a big point, they know where to pinpoint their shots.
It is out.
Tough miss there. There was no middle coverage again.
It was certainly the right shot. Would have been trouble.
So we've got a set point in here, Lauren.
Yep. And there's the first set. Big comeback from Kochis and Williamson, the number
They
7
win the
seeds.
first set, 7-5.
We'll be back in just a moment after these messages right here on the APTA network presented by eNet Live.
Life consists of unlimited possibilities. And if you look closely enough, life is surrounded by infinite beauty. What is your journey? What does it mean to you? Welcome to Club Pilates. We invite you to take a journey with us to a place where life and Pilates are intertwined in an exciting symphony of beauty, grace, strength, and power. Club Pilates is not something you do for 1 hour a day. It's something you do for the other 23 hours. It's how you live a fuller, richer, healthier, and more satisfying life. Because at Club Pilates, we're dedicated to you, and we feel the best way to your most fulfilling path is simple. Do Pilates. Do life.
Welcome back to the APTA Grand Prix Series presented by eNet Live. We are in this round of 16 match between Lisa Rudloff and Masha Slupska and Karen Kochis and Jacqueline Williamson. And Patty, tell us about what's gone on so far.
Well, Coaches Williamson were down in that match early, Lauren 2-5. And then they kind of steadied out their game, and it seems like Rudloff, Slupska took their foot off the gas. I mean, they looked like they were standing around waiting to win the first set.
Yeah, they went from really firmly seeming in control to losing a few games quickly, and that was all it took.
It's the first time I've seen Slupska play. I've seen a couple, points, but I got to watch her this morning at Beacon Hill. She's a wonderful new talent in the game.
Very smooth. I like the way she kind of glides around in the screen. She has very good sense in there for such a new player.
A lot of times in platform, you'll get a new player who sort of gets mentored on court from a high-ranking woman's player. And they are able to pair up and really have instant success.
It's a good formula because no matter how good your tennis skills are, you still need to learn how to play the game.
And if you've been playing the game a long time, like Rudloff, it's important to retool with some young legs.
Rudloff.
And tall legs,
They lead
long
one game
legs.
to love.
Because these tournaments
Second
are
set.
just grinds, and you have to be able to play 4 or 5 matches in a day, get up, go do it again the next day, maybe 2 more matches potentially.
It is tough on your body, and it does help to have young legs. Lisa Rudloff serving, 1-love.
Rudloff and Slupska know they can come back in this match. They were down the first set quickly to Noyes and Takash this morning, so they have an understanding about what it's going to take. Starting with each game and then try to split sets here.
First point. I haven't hit it yet. 5 love.
15 love. First point.
I didn't hit any return.
Even
Rudloff
with
thought they played
umpires.
another point.
It's hard to keep it straight sometimes. Great shot of that beautiful two-handed backhand out of that ad court from Jacqueline Williams.
Good hands.
Great hands from Lisa.
Nice job.
Her drop shot didn't really drop, and Williamson got a pretty good drive off, but Rudloff stood her ground, hit the volley through Williamson's legs.
And Lauren, she stood her ground exactly in the middle of the court. When we talk about sealing off the middle, Lisa's a teaching pro out on Long Island. She does a great job out of Huntington. And she knows positioning.
No.
40-15.
She would love to have that overhead back. That's a little unfortunate.
Better to do it at 40 love, although, as we know, in paddle, a game that you're up 40 love
Game to love.
can go badly quickly.
Lauren, did that game last 2 minutes?
No. I think we're seeing another momentum shift here.
And the amazing thing is we sit here and watch. We don't really know why, right? All of a sudden you just watch 8 points go by, 10 points go
Yeah.
by, and all of a sudden a team's got a 2-game margin.
I do think in the first set that Rudloff and Slupska relaxed a little bit when they were up 5-2. And like we said about at the beginning of the match, there's not a lot separating these teams in terms of skill. So a little let up can cause a big shift.
I love the wingspan that Slupska has out of that ad court.
Sorry.
30-15.
That's a
What
terrific.
a great get.
That's a great get. She had Williamson had Slupska in all kinds of trouble, and she waited and waited and made a great dig.
And how often do you see that combination? A player hits an unbelievable shot, digs out a shot that you don't think is possible, and the net player just overreacts a little bit. Sometimes they're thinking, what do I have to do to win a point on the screens on this
Right.
player?
Right. Relove for Rudloff Slupska. We'd like to thank our sponsors here at Short Hills. Viking is the official sponsor of the APTA. We'd also like to thank our other sponsors, Osteo Biflex, Behringer Vineyard, Club Pilates, Maple Crest Ford, Spiro Harrison Law Firm, Narragansett Brewery, and the New Jersey Men's Platform Tennis Association.
Back up. Short. Come on, what?
I think Slupska's more comfortable on the backhand screens.
I was just thinking that exact same thing. And you could just see the glee on Lisa Rudloff's face that she ended up over
She was
in the
happy to be
court.
back there, right? If they could only both play on the backhand side.
You could see she had a little bounce in her step. But
Up 30.
sometimes the decision as to who plays what side is because someone is so uncomfortable out of one corner. Saw that a little bit there with Slupska. Right there, you see how Karen Kochis out of the juice court was trying to play a little cat and mouse. And I find cat and mouse is really effective as a baseline player later in the point, Lauren.
I also think Slupska was too close to the net. She couldn't
Right.
get the ball below the level of the net before
Right,
she...
and sometimes you can early in the point,
Yeah.
but after a succession of mixing up lobs and drives, you sometimes can catch someone off the net, and that's where that little off-pace ball is so effective.
Right, that's where it's a great shot. Now we have 1 foot fall for each team.
Most of paddle is played without an umpire, so it is a little odd sometimes at these Grand Prix events where all of a sudden your live stream, there's an umpire, and it can lead to nerves and just losing a little concentration on a basic thing where your foot is. We've all done it.
Got it. Is out?
Ball was out, 15 love.
Players call their own lines, Lauren, and then if a team is not sure about a call, they're able to ask the umpire if the umpire confirms the call.
Here, Rudloff asking her partner if she were were there if she had let that ball come out of the nick. Just making sure that she can let it go next time. She didn't have a good play on it herself.
And
Good
a lot
hands.
of times, the way you defend the screens well is that you commit way over to the side screen, but you have to totally trust that your partner is acting as the trailer on the play.
Yeah, you can't do it otherwise.
And you can't commit to that side screen, so then you're going to be
Right.
vulnerable yourself to a ball that goes backside.
Game Coaches Williamson.
And I think, Lauren, what we're seeing a little bit there is we talk about some of the shifting or not overhead coverage. You watch the top women's teams, Dardis and Shea, Niculescu, Andrakova. They cover effortlessly all of these lobs, and a decision is made so much earlier. With Coaches Williamson, there's just a little bit of delay, and I just think that leaves them in a vulnerable position on the next shot, and that's where Lisa and Masha don't need to force that next drive. They have an opening and a player off the net, make them volley.
Rudloff's now serving 3-2, but they were up 3-love. Similar to the first set, having a big lead and not being able to consolidate.
But we said how nice Coaches and Williamson are. That was nice of them to let this team take the lead early in the set, let them believe they can win it, and then tighten up and come through. And Coaches and Williamson, number 12 in the country, the last 2 years, sort of on a limited playing schedule against high-ranking teams. I just think the more they get out here, the better they're going to get. You need to see that competition under pressure.
There's
Good coverage, communication,
that's
teamwork.
Yep. And, you know, in paddle, there's no sense in driving the ball where everyone's in position, but Coaches and Williamson created a hole by pulling Rudloff back behind her partner, and the hole was there. They didn't execute, but it was a well-played setup point.
I think you're right.
Lauren, it's so fun to watch just how effortless this seems for all four players out here. They have the balance on every shot, the timing. Just make it look so easy.
Good hold by Lisa Rudloff in a pressure situation.
Game Rudolph. They lead 4 games to 2.
Lauren, let's go to the top of the draw on the women's side briefly, and if you can give us a little bit of an update. The top half of the main draw. Who do we have, Lauren?
Well, the number 2 seeds, Cynthia Dardis and Amy Shea, are at the top of the draw. And they're playing Sue Tarzian and Kelly Brown Cobbs. And the winner of that match is going to play the winner of a great match, Jade Curtis and Vicky Stoklasova, and who are playing Carrie Flynn and Mirta Mollenveld. There, you can see it there. So that's going to be that quarter. Those are excellent-looking matches.
And then next. Yep, keep
Go
going,
ahead.
Lauren.
Okay, and then the next quarter we have Florentina Hanisch and Annika van Starenburg, who are an excellent young team, against Deborah Castani and the veteran Liz Jaffe. The winner of that match will play the veterans, Bobo Delaney and Tonya Mangan, or the number 3 seeds. Allison Morgan. Mangan Morgan. No. Allison Morgan and Bobo Delaney, or the number 3 seeds, Roxy Anika and Liz Cruz.
I mean, the strength in this women's field is outstanding here this weekend. We'll talk about the other part of the draw a little bit later in this match. But all potential quarterfinal matchups that everyone's going to enjoy watching.
Every single one of them is worth watching.
And shout out to Tonya Mangan, who's watching her son Jack lacrosse game. I think it's the season opener this weekend, and so Allison Morgan is filling in, playing with her partner Bobo Delaney. That's Jacqueline Williamson with the orange paddle.
30-30.
Karen Kochis is standing at the net, the serving team. She's wearing a purple shirt. Lisa Rudloff returning serve from the deuce court.
That's the danger. When you come over to cover your partner, you leave the
You
court
leave a lot
open.
of room open.
Yeah.
But Lisa wisely just threw up a lob.
Yeah, she got
knew
back
she was
there.
in trouble. She knew her team needed some time, so she ran over with her paddle aiming up to the sky and just lobbed the ball. Wow. Was that a volley? And that's what we've grown to expect out of Williamson and Kochis. You just never know. They come up with incredible shots off of the most difficult shots.
And you saw this time that Rudloff and Slupska made the switch back to their sides.
Karen and Jacqueline are definitely doing a great job, I think, keeping the ball away from Masha right in her wheelhouse there in the ad court. They're kind of pinning her in there with many, many overheads and kind of getting her pretty deep in the court, so when she does get off a drive, they have time to react to the volley.
And I also think that because they're doing such a good job pinning her in the corner, there have been a few times where she's gotten a drive that maybe wasn't so wise to hit, that she should have lobbed, and she's hitting it because she knows it might be the only opportunity she gets.
And that's the mental toughness and the discipline that you need out here to get to the higher level of play. And if you're used to winning points off your drive, it is hard to dial that back.
There was a good drive, and Rudloff was up the net right behind it to knock off the volley.
Game, Rudloff, Slupska. They lead 5 games to 2.
We're back at 5-2, Patty.
We know the score well here.
Yeah, I think that Rudloff and Slupska are not going to let up this time. I think we may be looking at a third set.
And this is just where Kochis and Williamson, they need to figure out how to assert themselves a little bit. And they're playing a little reactive here, where you would love to see them take charge a little bit more. I mean, they've got every shot, but I think this is, as a team, their challenge. How do you manage these situations in matches? How do you close out a match? Little shaky serve there, and she knew she was lucky to get it in.
15.
She was kind of distracted on her volley.
Yeah, well, Kochis was practically in her face when she hit that drive. The serve was slow and short.
Love 30. Love 40.
A couple times Rudloff has tried to find that angle when it's not there.
See how easy that first volley looked for Slupska?
If you come in down the middle and have your paddle set, it does look easy.
15-40.
I like that play we saw from Slupska. Just kind of put an overhead deep down the middle and pulled Williamson and Kochis toward the middle, and that's kind of how you open up corners. Some players think you just go on the attack in the corners right away, where sometimes you need to pull players toward the middle.
Yeah, make them
and
move.
Create an opening. Wow.
There was one.
Game coaches Williamson.
Maybe a little miscommunication there.
It sort of looked like
5 games to 3.
You.
Besides being a teaching professional, Karen Kochis also knows how to sew, Lauren. You can see the mitt she's wearing on her hand, and her gloves are out of her personal collection. See lots of her gloves at paddle tournaments. Women love getting them as favors.
Karen's originally from Denmark.
Her two kids are great paddle and tennis players. Hopefully we'll get them up in the junior nationals in a couple weeks, Lauren. I like Jacqueline hitting her forehand there just to kind of keep her opponents honest. And what a gentle little shot from Karen right there.
Yeah. Both teams know how important this game is.
Yeah.
And I love what Karen did on that gentle little shot.
Yeah.
She didn't overdo. She saw the open court. Didn't matter how hard, as long as she got the ball in the court. I think that's an important passage for lots of club level paddle
Yep,
players.
last point.
That point was so long, nobody remembered it was the first point.
Go, go, go!
Look at that volley. So unorthodox
Yeah.
looking.
And off of a very good return.
You.
Rudloff and
30.
Slupska just have to
30 love.
play the point, not the score. They can't think about what happened in the first set.
Do you think they're both thinking, oh no, here we go again? Or here they come? And
I think they really wanted to win that 5-2 game, and they were
40 love.
frustrated by how quickly it went. And it's kind of dripping over into this game. By the same token, Kochis
Game.
and Williamson are
Coaches
staying
Williamson.
very calm.
Rudloff, Slupska lead 5 games to 4.
Okay, if you're Lisa Rudloff, what do you tell your partner here, Patty?
well, I would look up to my partner here and say, you the woman, let's go. We're going to do this together. We're going to go a point at a time in this very next game and spot your drives. Take advantage of your offensive weapon but make them volley. Go right at them. Just kind of try to orchestrate some points as a team. And here they are serving. So I think it's just as important to work as a team. Don't force it. And you gotta make first volleys.
Love 15.
Sometimes Lisa Rudloff's serve gets a little short and tentative. It's hard to make those volleys.
Love 30.
And on her first serve, she kind of stopped on the service line, which was way too far back.
And then that one she flagged an out ball.
She's right to take a little time here. She may have gotten hit by that ball.
She did. And
Yep.
So I didn't know anything happened. Yeah, I didn't either. Okay. All right, here we go. Left third. Tell me to go. Mine.
I like that play. A little bit down the middle here. Karen Kochis is not looking to be offensive necessarily, so that's kind of a safe spot on the court. Jacqueline Williamson, out of the ad court, really doesn't tag that many forehand drives. So the middle is really kind of a safe area for them to hit to.
yeah, and that's what you have to do, Patty. You have to figure out where that safe area is against every team you're playing, if there is one. That's a tough drive, tough volley to handle if you're off the net.
Love 40.
This is at least 9 points in a row for Williamson and Kochis. And more, going back to the game before that.
Same pattern we saw in the first set, Lauren.
Okay, well, they're on the board. Tricky lob there.
Wow. Just got the line.
Great, well placed, and
Game coaches Williamson.
like Rudloff, I never in a million years thought that Williamson was going to drive off a short forehand. I mean, lob off at that short forehand. She fooled us. 5-all?
Well, she didn't fool me, Lauren, because I've seen her play quite a few matches. And it seems like she doesn't drive her forehand that often.
That close to the net? All right, well, she fooled me. Sorry, I don't want to
Okay.
drag you down with me.
It's okay. We're entitled to our opinions. All right, so we're at 5-all. This is where Lisa and Masha have to play percentage return of serves. I mean, they just can't rip it. They've got to get the ball in play.
Yeah, and they got to come together here. Good, that's good. Lisa's giving her partner
Just 5-all.
a
Little
high
high five.
five.
Low 5.
Low 5, yeah.
It's a nice move over by Karen to cover the up the line shot. Or the down the line.
A little scrambling there.
15 love.
Williamson and Kochis look just smoother at this point. They're not chasing the ball.
A lot of shots into Slupska's corner over there in the ad court.
I don't know. No. No,
And Slupska's got to hold it together here right now.
Yeah.
You can see she's getting a little frustrated.
That's what you need
30-15.
when you're down like that. A let cord, bring you right back into it.
It's an important point right here. Good little chalk talk there with Lisa. Reminding her partner to put the ball in
30
play if
all.
she gets a chance.
I was just gonna say that Williamson's missed a few serves on big points.
They just make these first volleys look so
40-30.
easy. That's the most difficult shot for most club level players.
I think for all players, not just club level. And that's why you see people staying back more and more, because it's easier to stay back and try to get in the point than trying to fight off a great return.
And that's the beauty of
Game
Karen
coaches
Kochis'
Williamson.
style of play
They
right
lead
there.
6-5.
She
second
moved
set,
in to take it early.
Won the
She
first
saw the
set.
angle open.
7-5.
But she just looks so nonchalant in her shot making out there. It is really fun to watch. And she almost, it's kind of like a running back in football. She has to let the hole develop and then she makes her move.
Yeah, I mean, she didn't hit that ball hard, but she took advantage of the room and the odd angle, and now they're returning for the match.
Statistically in the men's game, Lauren, we learned earlier this week that men's matches, when they serve, there's no advantage. So you'll see many more of the men's matches now where both teams will stay back as a normal order of things throughout the match. They won't even wait till they're in trouble. They'll just do it as a strategy. I think when you play an opponent whose drive is on fire, you just remove yourself as a target. You're not giving up anything. You're just enabling your team to get into the point.
Yeah, instead of losing the point right away, at least you're giving yourself a good chance. Good point from Rudloff and Slupska. That was a good start to this game.
Team love.
Wow, another serve that was a little shaky. Just caught the line, it looked like.
Her serve has such a big arc on it. Looks like they're flying.
30 love.
Coach just tried one of her dinks there. Just missed it in the net.
Really smart overheads there from Rudloff. Way off the net. Push back, push the ball deep down the middle. Great lob from Williamson there. Slupska's caught on her wrong side, Lauren.
And smartly, Williamson tried to capitalize on it. There, now they're back.
Because they don't want to risk losing a point in a key moment here, because they haven't switched back.
Great get.
Great shot making from all four women here. Wow. You saw she had her grip way over on her paddle, enabling her to get that what looked like a low percentage shot way cross court.
It's another inside out backhand from Kochis. Just no pace on it.
Yeah,
Very
she made
smart
Lisa
touch.
look bad on that volley. And Lisa's a good volleyer.
Lisa's a good volleyer. Ooh.
15-40. I'm sorry, 40-15.
Oh.
40 all.
Deuce. Match point.
It is out.
Little indecision. Forehand or backhand volley makes it tough in a pressure situation.
There it is.
And we are not live from the Boston Open. We're live from the Short
Coachis
Hills Club,
Williamson.
Lauren.
But either way, Kochis and Williamson just came back down from 2-5 in both sets to win 7-5, 7-5 over Lisa Rudloff and Masha Slupska.
Possibly headed toward a matchup with Kasakavich and Prop in the round of quarters. I think that was fun to watch, and Kochis and Williamson, all the credit to them. They slow start each set. They got it together, pulled the match out.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
they played the same whatever the score was. And they were very smooth, and they really cut down on their errors from the very beginning of the match, and Rudloff and Slupska were more up and down.
Well, I think that was a fun entree for people who are new to platform tennis to watch the skill that these women have and the poise and the discipline. The game is really, they're getting better and better. It's so fun to watch.
Jerry Vian has gone down to the court to interview Williamson and Kochis. Jerry, you ready?
We're working out some kinks here.
All right, guys. Now, congratulations. Let's just explain this to me. You want to wait until you're down 5-2 and then you start?
Not really, but I mean that's what needed to be done today. So yeah, 5-2 down in both sets. That's by no means ideal, but we worked it out.
You did. You stayed very calm. Jacqueline, what were you thinking?
Oh gosh, I was just looking at Karen, having her tell me what to do every 2 seconds. It's kind of sometimes easier to be down because you just hit and then. But I think we started out the second set really tentative after the comeback, and then time to go to work again. It seemed like.
Have you seen these guys? Have you been on the court with these guys before?
But it was they were like exhausted, and we played them, and I don't think it was any showing in how they could play. So really, we came out here fresh, really, with them. So
Did you have a game plan, or you're trying to figure it out as you were going along?
I'd say that we figured it out as we went. So we definitely adjusted a few things.
We went in with a couple things, but then I feel like we just needed to change along the way. Needed to fire more offense, I think, smarter offense, and we're trying to find her wires in the corner, but
it's not always easy when you see a lot of drives. But I think we made some nice adjustments, really. Because
I was having trouble with Lisa's return, actually, which was I couldn't get it, so we had to fix that. She made the plan for that, and I followed along.
All right. Well, do you know who you're playing in the next round? Do you guys look at the draw, or
maybe Heather and Anya? Probably.
I don't know. I don't look at the draw. No, I'll let you rest up. Congratulations. Well done, you guys.
Thank you so much.
All right.